What's up, y'all? It's Lauren back with another episode of the Chicks and Dip podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going solo. It's just me in the studio. We've got some new lighting. I'm working it out. Y'all know this studio is new, and every single week I get a little something else in here, and this week it's lighting, so I am jazzed. And speaking of the new studio, I want to apologize for the audio last week. That was totally on me. I made a careless mistake. I'll explain. But thank you so much if you got through the episode. I know it sounded like there was like a box fan on or static or something. So the interview was wonderful. Andy and John were like amazing. And I was so freaking mad at myself whenever I got home and like listened to it back. I was like, dude, what did I do wrong? I had like our audio gain, which if you know audio, then you know what I'm talking about. But I had it turned way, way low. So like literally you might as well have been using the camera audio. It was so hard to edit. So thank you so much for bearing with me last week. I appreciate you guys so much. And thank you for being here today. Today we're going solo because, I've just had a lot going on in my life. And so we are going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. And I'm going to tell y'all some funny stories. And I'm going to explain where my head has been at the last couple weeks, because I feel like y'all can feel the vibe. Like you listen back to the last couple weeks and you're like, is Lauren okay? No. So we're going to get into it. But before we do that, y'all know I want to thank Neutral. Thank you so much to Neutral for supporting the Chicks and Dip podcast. On the set today behind me in this bookcase, let's see what we got. Oh my God. I've literally got a Neutral from every single pack. I've got the classic, I've got the lemonade, I've got the cranberry, I've got all of it. But the most important thing that I need you to know this week specifically about Neutral is that on Saturday, May 13th, that's this coming Saturday, I'm partnering up with Neutral and we're hosting a brunch to like kick off their new flavor, which is orange. It's one of the classic ones. It's orange and I have had it. It's so crisp and like refreshing. It's something that summer's coming up and it's exactly what I want, because sometimes a mimosa is a little too bubbly. It's a little too heavy. It's a little too juicy. I'm not interested, but I want that orange crispiness to like perk me up when the sun is out and I'm on the beach. You know what I'm saying? So Neutral Orange is going to be that fix for me all summer long. So y'all can come out and try it. It's our Neutral Orange brunch kickoff is going to be at the Nest here in Savannah. It's a rooftop bar. Super cool space. They just rolled out brunch recently. Great food, great view of the river. So y'all come on out and drink some Neutral with me. Great. What is her? Graham Strands is what I was about to call her. Glam Strands by Alexia. She will also be there. They're like the little hair tinsel-y things. I want to get some in my hair, but like y'all know I've got Rachel's wedding coming up. So I'm like, how quickly could I get them out? Maybe I'll get some orange ones and just cut them out before the wedding. I don't know. Anyway, thank you so much to Neutral for supporting this show. I love you and I cannot wait to party with you all day on Saturday. Okay, let's start with an intro story before we get into everything. Something that happened to me last night. Well, actually this morning rather. So last night, I had an event and I fed Mr. Kim before I left. So I had eyes on him, right? This morning, I wake up and I'm like looking for my son. I'm like, Kim, kitty cat, where are you? Because he usually sleeps in the bed with me and he wasn't there. I was like, what's the deal, Mr. Kim? So I get up, I'm getting ready for the gym, calling him, and I can hear him meowing. It sounds like he's like under the couch or something, like it's muffled. And I'm like, Kim, where are you? So I'm looking around, I look under the couch, he's not there. I hear like the direction of the laundry room. And I'm like, oh God, what if he's jumped in the dryer or something and he's trapped? I'm like, I go in there, I look in the washer, not there. Look in the dryer, thank God, not there. He's not in the clothing basket, he's not in the closet. So I really listen. He is outside. He spent the entire night outside. If y'all have not gone to his Instagram and seen a photo of Mr. Kim is a 20-pound house cat. I'm not being dramatic. When I got him, he was 16. He's now 20. Even though he's on diet food, that's how little he exercises, okay? Like, he is not, I love him. I believe in him. And I think that all of his hopes and dreams could come true if he would apply himself. But I know him. He's not equipped to live the outside life, okay? He's not an outdoor cat. He's not savvy like that. He's not real athletic. He's not real motivated. Like, if it came time to eat something out there, I don't know what he would do. I like to think that he would be hungry enough and his instincts would kick in and he'd like get a lizard or something. But I really don't know. I don't think it would happen. So that's what we're dealing with here. So I'm like in like mom mode and I'm like, no, Kim, my baby. I like pull him inside. I'm like, oh my God, how are you? I'm holding him. I'm kissing him. And he's just mad. I can tell. Y'all know how cats are. if they feel like you've wronged them, they will let you know. And so he's like cold shouldering me and just going like, meow, meow, meow. Okay. Fair. That's actually totally fair. Well, so then I'm like trying to think like, when the hell did he get out? And so I'm like replaying my steps. I'm like, last night I got home from this event. I did not open the door at all last night. So that means he was 100% out throughout the entire night because I just woke up. And I'm like feeling so horrible for him. He doesn't go outside and he had to spend the whole night out there. I feel bad. But I think what happened was I fed him and then I like went outside to do like a temp check, you know, like I went outside and like stuck half my body out to see how humid it was out there to decide my outfit. And I think that he must have just slipped like right in between my legs or something and I didn't notice it. And I'm like, how did I not notice a 20-pound cat squeezing in between my legs? But that's the only thing I can think of. Like, there's no way he opened the door by himself. I keep on throwing that out there and I'm like, maybe he opened the door. And I'm like, no, Lauren, no, that would literally be impossible. Like, no. So I think that I just was being a neglective mom and I didn't even see him leave the house. Y'all, I feel horrible. But he's okay. He's had an attitude and his paws were a little muddy. Like whenever I picked him up, he got like mud all over my workout tank top and I had to change. And I was like, you know what? I hope that you got your fix and now you want to never go outside again so I don't have to worry about it. But I'm also scared, like, what if he had a really good time? What if he wants to be an outside cat now? What am I going to do? He has a harness. I've tried to actually walk him because he's always been curious about the squirrels outside. Like, he loves to get up in the window and, like, you know, click at them and whatever. And I took him out on his harness one time in the backyard and he loved it until a car drove by that was like kind of loud. And then it was like, mom, hold me. Like he was not into the outdoors anymore. So I don't know. We'll see how he acts. If he wants to go outside, I'm happy to go out there with him, but I'm not about to start just letting him out every night. See where the wind takes him. No, I can't let go that much. Absolutely not. So shout out, Mr. Kim. I'm glad you're okay, buddy. I think that's the only kind of interest stories I have for you. We can kind of get into it. I have some show notes here. So, the last couple of weeks, I have been like so off whenever I've been trying to record. I feel like I've just been trying to get through them and I'm so grateful and lucky to have amazing guests on like every week. And so I feel bad even saying that because the guests were awesome and the episodes are awesome. But me like internally, I'm like just trying to get through. So I'll just tell y'all, about a little over 3 weeks ago, Cameron and I broke up. I initiated it. And I don't want to give y'all, not that I don't want to give y'all all the details. Of course I do. Y'all are like my gang. But I don't really want to get into the weeds of like why exactly we broke up. Just because, you know, Cameron is still someone that I respect. So more so I'm going to tell y'all about some of the fallout of it that only affects me. But yeah, I mean, we've been together for a couple years and it just, I think like any relationship, like they kind of run their course. You know, I met him when I was 22 and now I'm 26. And so I have just kind of grown and am changing and I'm not the same person I was whenever we first started dating, you know? And so I think that our paths started on the same trek and now they're just going in different directions. And it sucks because, you know, we have a great life. It's a great life. A relationship with him has been wonderful. But whenever there's not, what am I trying to say? It's like whenever they haven't done something wrong, it like makes you, it makes it way harder. And, you know, he and I have been having conversations for like several months about just, you know, where's this going? What are we doing? And I think that we've both kind of like let it go on for like a little longer than it probably should have because we've been having fun and we've just kind of been suppressing that conversation down. And so whenever it finally came down to us having it, it sucked, y'all. It sucked. And it's sad and it's, I mean, it is what it is. It's just, I keep on saying like, I wish he would have like done something horrible so that it could have just been like, well, fuck you, goodbye, you know? But that's not how it is. It's been very respectful and yeah, it sucks, but it is what it is and I'm fine and he's going to be okay, you know? Like we're okay. But I didn't want to keep that from y'all and I've been sitting on that for several weeks now and I feel like it was starting to show. Like I told y'all I told y'all last week or maybe the week before that I had tried to record a solo episode and that I was sick. I wasn't sick. Well, actually, I was a little sick, but I literally just was so ugly and sniffly from crying so much a couple of weeks ago. Like, I was like, yeah, I can like take a break and get on the podcast and like that'll be a good like mental health break for me. I came on here and I was still just crying. Like, it was tough. But I mean, that's how a breakup goes. You have to, it's just weird. I've gone through one other major breakup before, and it's weird how different the relationships were, but how similar the feelings that come with the breakup are. It's very weird. Like, I've gone through the whole aftermath of it where, there's the initial day and the day after it where it's just cry fest nonstop. At least for me, that's how it goes. And then you have, those little moments where you're like, am I making a mistake? Like, is this the right thing for me? And you have to like really listen to your gut in those couple days and be like, no, like this is why we're doing this. This is how we got here. And like, just trust yourself. And that's the hardest part, y'all. It's really hard. And it's also been extremely hard because we live together. So that's been fun. People keep on asking, like my friends, they'll send me a text and be like, oh my God, y'all live together? Like, are y'all just fighting? Or people say, oh my God, you live together? Like, are y'all still having sex? And I'm like, no, neither. I'm like, it's not sexy, that's for sure. But it's not like we're in a fight. It's just like this weird, awkward, almost just like in between, like, we lived in this house as a couple for like over a year and now I live in the guest room and you're my roommate. Like, ew, what? It's just so weird. And so like I keep on telling people, I'm like, it's not sexy and it's not like a situation that is unbearable. It's just like Nick and Jess and New Girl, just like a little bit uncomfortable and a little bit weird and awkward. But we're getting through it. I've got another apartment. I did find somewhere else to live. And so I'll be moving at the end of this month. So that I think will be really good, and I mean, I don't know if y'all have, I think even if you don't live together, like any breakup, I think that you just need space. Like the time that we have like, forced ourselves to be busy over the last several weeks, like just to be apart from each other has been like the best thing we could have done. And I mean, we're very much like working it out together, it's not fun, but we're trying to just be respectful of each other and get through it. But so there's the damper of this conversation. I'm so sorry, you guys. But in all of this, of course, there's comedy. I mean, I'm going through a breakup and I live with my ex. Oh, and it also happened literally like the day after we saw Taylor Swift together. And people are like, what the hell? But like I said, we were having these conversations before. So like before we left for Taylor Swift weekend, we had a conversation of like, okay, can we both agree that this is a once in a lifetime concert? And so like, we're just going to be cool this weekend and like make it happen. And that's what we did. And I don't regret that at all. It was a great memory. I will cherish seeing Taylor Swift with my now ex-boyfriend for the rest of my life. I loved it. That's crazy. It's not though. It's not. It's weird, but it's not that crazy. But let me just tell y'all, like I just said, the first like 2 days are always the worst. So I'm crying nonstop. And so I had to go shoot some content for one of my social media clients, literally the day after we like officially broke up. So I'm fresh off the cry train, puffy eyes. I'm so congested from just crying so much. That's at least what I think. And I show up to do this content and the owner of the place is like a friend of mine. And I'm like, girlfriend, I'm really sorry. Here's what's going on. She's like, no, you're fine. You are fine. We're just going to get this done. And then you can go home and keep crying. You're okay. Well, of course, whenever I look the ugliest I've ever looked, I pull up at this place and there's a whole table of like 5 of my old coworkers sitting there. I'm like, good morning. And I'm like, I'm not taking my sunglasses off. You guys cannot see me like this. And then I walk in and I see a coworker at the restaurant that I work at. So this is a new coworker now. And he comes up to me. I cannot make this up. He looks at me and looks up and down and goes, oh my God, you look like you've been crying. I was like, that's because I have been literally nonstop for 48 hours. How are you? Like, it was so humbling. And I was like, I'm not even embarrassed. I just have to feel this. You have to just lean into it. It was so funny. But I made the decision. after those first like couple of rough days, I was like, I feel like I need to go home. I've spoken about this before whenever my co-host left, crying in my enchilada iconic solo episode. I had to just get out of this space and go do like a refresh with my mom and dad and my sister and their dogs. Like that's what I needed. That's what the doctor ordered. So I pack up my stuff and I go home and I'm talking to my family and I'm like, I feel bad. And they're like, yeah, like, it's sad. I'm like, no, like I physically feel ill. And, of course, like whenever I'm sad, I'm like not eating that much. I'm definitely not drinking water like I should be. So I'm like, maybe I'm just not taking care of myself. And then my mom, like at some point had FaceTimed me and she saw my eyes and she was like, oh God. And I was like, I know. My coworker already told me how ugly I look. She's like, no, like I think that you're sick. Like you look bad. So I get home and I don't even stop anywhere. I just go straight to the urgent care. Y'all, I walk into the urgent care and I looked so fucking ugly that they put a hospital band on me. Do you hear me? At an urgent care. A hospital band with my birthday, my first, middle, last name, social security number. I was like, you're lying right now. I was like, am I about to get checked in? Maybe that would be good for me. Maybe if there's like a mental health section of the hospital, maybe that's where I should be. I can just ride this out. Am I having a physical reaction to an emotional thing? Like, I didn't know what was happening. I was like, what is that? So I go back there. They say, what's going on? And I was like, I just feel ill. And my mom is like, you look pretty sick. And so I said, I'm also going through a breakup, so it could just be that. And they're like, well, like, do you feel like any body aches or anything? Like, do you feel like you need to get tested for anything? And I'm like, nah, probably not. I'm just emotional. Y'all, your girl had COVID. The whole week of this breakup, I had freaking COVID. I didn't think people were still catching COVID. I thought that we were done. I really did. I thought that we were in the clear of all this. I don't know who I got COVID from. I haven't been around anybody sick. And so then I started to like think about the first time that I had COVID, like back in 2020, and it made me hella emotional. So then I'm sitting here with my damn hospital band on, and they're telling me I have COVID, and I'm like, no wonder I've been crying off the hook. I don't feel good. You know what I mean? Like, when you truly don't feel good, your emotions are just heightened, I feel like. So I was feeling all of this. I was physically sick as well. And then when it rains, it pours, y'all. When it rains, it pours. My car. I've told y'all about the journey with this check engine light. I thought that we got it fixed. I took it to the car dealership when the whole thing with it overheating and whatever. $1,300 later, they're like, you're in the clear, Miss Wolverton. We got to the bottom of it. I'm like, yeah. Nope. I'm like sweating thinking about this. My check engine light comes on again, this time on the interstate in the pouring sideways rain. And I'm like, you're kidding me. You're kidding. Like, everything that's happening, and now the check engine light, like, my life is falling apart. I'm literally crumbling up every lane of my life, throwing it in the trash, and then you're gonna turn on the check engine light of my life, bro. Oh my God, I was so worked up. And so it was drivable though, so I drove it back home to Savannah. This was like whenever I was down in Tampa that the check engine light came on, right? So we get back to Savannah and I'm like, I'm not going back to the dealership here. I have been to them 4 times, paid them already to fix something, and it's still not fixed. So I'm like, I'm going to go to Valdosta this weekend, see my parents, and we'll bring the car then. So get to Valdosta, do the urgent care thing. I'm in the bed all day, whatever. We take the car. They call back and say some crazy thing. I'm not even going to try to reiterate it. It was something with a tube and something was rubbing up against the thing. And like y'all, like, you know how people like do like this? If you're audio only, it's like the finger thing, like to like signify like sex. You know what I'm saying? That's what the guy was visually doing to describe something wrong with my car. I was like, this is a lot right now. I don't know what please stop doing that with your hands. Like, I can't. And so we get that diagnostic and they're like, the recommendation from Hyundai is a new engine. I'm like, great. Warranty, right? Nope. No warranty. I said, well, not happening. Nope. So we had a family meeting. I'm again on the verge of a freaking mental break. And I said, what are we going to do about this car? And so my dad was like making the household decision. He said, we're going to Milledgeville. I want to give the biggest shout out. I hope they see this. Hyundai dealership in Milledgeville, Georgia is the shit. I have been to so many Hyundai dealerships and they are the only one that I freaking trust. They found the problem. It was a sensor, not a sensor update like they've been telling me in Savannah. full sensor replacement, and we're golden, baby. I have been running the roads. I've been using that turbo engine. I've been on the interstate. I've been on the Truman Parkway tearing it up safely. And thank you to Milledgeville Hyundai dealership. So we finally got it sorted. But y'all, like, whenever I tell you, I have never, ever, ever felt when it rains, it pours more than I have lately, okay? And so then I come on this podcast and I'm like, let me deliver. This is my job. I got to deliver something to the people. And y'all, I was just giving y'all my best and it was not that good. So seriously, I apologize. Like, I can see the listens and I know that it hasn't been that great the last couple of weeks. Again, nothing to do with the guests. They've all been wonderful. But I have been a little bit out of it. My brain has been elsewhere. So you guys understand. I hope that y'all do at least. But yeah, it was just horrible. Like, God. So, I don't know. Hold on. I have my notes here. Literally, it just says, looking so ugly. My car having more problems. That's honestly all that y'all need to know. That period. But I don't know. I mean, it's been a very weird couple of weeks, and we've kind of just, I mean, like I said, I explained all the emotions of the upfront, but there is a moment, and if you've gone through a breakup, you know what I'm talking about. There's a moment where you finally feel like that relief that you've been craving. Once you get through all of the crying and the sadness and the worrying about the other person being okay after this and worrying about yourself being okay after this, I finally found that place of like, oh my God, I feel like I lost 10 pounds. Like, I know I'm going to be okay. I know he's going to be okay. And that sucked, but I got through it. And so I finally found that like relief and peace that I feel like I've been wanting. And it feels good. And you know, I cherish our relationship. I will for the rest of my life. But it is kind of, I mean, I hate to say it's exciting because it's also so sad and it sucks and all of it. But it is exciting to think about, you know, this new chapter of my life. And it also is making me feel really proud of myself that I went ahead and had this conversation with him before it got to a place of us fighting. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I care for him and will always have love for him. And I'm just really proud of he and I both for being able to communicate through this and hopefully come out of this once we get through this weird transitional phase. Both of us hope to have a friendship down the line. And I think that we can because, like I said, we were grown enough to just, you know, recognize like, hey, this isn't going in the same direction anymore. And if we keep going down this path, there will be resentment and all of those kinds of things. And I just didn't want it to get to that place because we have built such a duo of a relationship together. You know what I mean? So I'm feeling all the things, which is kind of just the theme of this freaking show, isn't it? It's like in your 20s, in your young adulthood, everything is changing so much all the time and you have to learn things the hard way. And so I just feel like I'm feeling a lot right now. In a short amount of time, I felt sadness and grief and stress and frustration and anger and all of those things. And I've also felt pride and joy and hopefulness and excitement and all of those things too. And it's just, I have learned, which I've known this about myself, but I have confirmation after this last month that, baby, sometimes I just need to cry no matter what I'm feeling. I'm feeling all of those things at once. And the only way I'm going to feel better is if I like get in the shower, get in my car somewhere and just cry, like let a rip. I've been doing a lot of it and it has been wonderful. And yeah, so I feel like that's kind of, I don't want to go into too much more detail. And I'm sure, you know, not anytime soon, but I know like down the line on this show, I'll probably, you know, bring a guest on or something, and I'll probably open up to you guys a little bit more. But for now, that's all I really want to say about that situation. And it's just been a crazy start to the year, you guys. Like, holy shit. But it's just so crazy. Like, I believe in like God's timing of everything, and just some other aspects of my life, I feel like everything is lining up for me to have like a big change right now. And in relation to this show, when was that? Like 2 months ago or something? I was like, I just feel like there's like a new chapter coming. Like I felt it in like my body, and I was like, I want to like rebrand the show. And so that's still happening, and I'm still working on it. And I just think it's I don't want to say it's cool or it's weird. It's just almost comforting to like see other lanes of my life evolving in the same time. Does that make sense? I don't even know if that makes sense, but yeah. Another little crazy thing, whenever I found my apartment, my new place, first of all, that was a big step. That was a like pretty emotional day for me. Finding a new place to live by myself again. It's just weird, but it's emotional because it's like letting go of something that has been pretty comfortable for a while. And then there's the feeling of excitement of having my own place again and making it my own and just focusing on myself in this new space. I think that is really cool. But whenever I found the apartment, I went and I viewed it and whatever, and I was talking with the owner of the property, and I just mentioned, like a little bit about me, my background, and she's like, no way, small world. Her entire family is Mississippi State alumni, and they live in Savannah, Georgia. And I know I talk about Mississippi State all the time because it is a major part of my life and my personality, whatever, but it is very rare to find someone in Savannah that has any connection to Mississippi, period, especially Mississippi State University. And whenever she told me that, like, I swear I was so emotional. I was like, hey, God, it's me. I hear you telling me that I'm going to be okay. Like, thanks. So I feel really good about it. And again, y'all know a couple weeks ago I mentioned Taylor Swift and that she's been getting me through a lot of shit right now. I'm not saying we are like aligned in any way. I know that's delusional for me to think, but I'm just saying Taylor Swift is also going through a breakup, okay? So if she can get through this, then I can get through this too. And I'll tell you what, whenever you're going through a breakup, Midnights hits totally different than it did whenever it came out. I have been vibing. I have had it on like so loud every morning. I'm like, Alexa, play Midnights on Spotify. And it just, it's so good. It's so good. Like the power of music when you're feeling things, it's like, yeah. So it's been really fun. Fun is not the right word. It's been something. It's been really something. But yeah. So that's where I'm at. And now I'm going to tell you some funny stories. There's no transition there at all. But I did a little bit of crowdsourcing this morning, okay? And I asked people to tell me about some times that their crazy came out. And let me tell you what inspired this. I was recently at Chips and Dip with a friend of mine, and she started to tell me about something crazy she did. She's like, Lauren, I did something crazy. I'm pretty embarrassed about it. And I was like, what do you mean crazy? Like light someone's house on fire or like a little bit less? She's like, a little bit less, but close. I'm like, oh shit. So she starts telling me this story, which I'm going to read. She wrote it into me and I'm going to read it to y'all. But it sparked me into thinking about some of the crazy shit that I've done. And I actually have like the most insane story. So okay, maybe I'll tell my crazy first. And y'all know what I'm saying? Like, I know that you're not supposed to say crazy or whatever, because it's like, I don't know. I think, aren't people offended whenever you say you're being crazy? Like, I think you're supposed to be more specific than that. But y'all know the kind of crazy I'm talking. Like, I think it's usually in relationships and friendships, usually, probably primarily in like situationships more than anything. But it's like whenever you feel provoked into doing something that is so out of body, and you have to take a step back and be like, I'm being crazy right now. And usually it's warranted. I will say that about all of these. All the context, warranted. Bad behavior, yes, but warranted and totally understood. And I have really, really not been crazy. Like, I have historically not really been someone who like wants to snoop like through people's drawers and people's phones. Like, I'm not a snooper, but again, when provoked, baby, I'll snoop through anything. Like no, I'm mostly kidding, but not really. I think that, let me just tell y'all what happened. Oh my God. Okay. So this happened years ago now. I mean, literally, like, there was this woman who was just sending, my boyfriend at the time, like, just inappropriate messages, and like he was kind of entertaining it. And so I just like put a stop to it real early. I was like, listen, we're not going to continue to date if this is what's going to go down here. Like, no, that's a wrap. It wasn't anything crazy, but it was just inappropriate, And so we had a conversation about it. We set that boundary there, and that was a wrap on that, and we moved on. Well, so then like a full like year goes by, and I think like I have not thought about this person or this situation at all. And then me and my ex-boyfriend and a couple of my girlfriends were out, and we were talking. It was whenever Instagram did the update in your DMs, how it used to just be one DM box, and then they broke it up into like primary, request, and something else. And we were all talking about that, and so we all had our DMs out, and so we were all looking to see what was in our request. Well, my ex-boyfriend's request had like 8 DMs from this woman, and I was like, open that. I'm like, what is that? And it was her like responding to his story with like the purple devil emoji and stuff. Like, and I was like, it wasn't that serious, but I was like, okay, we've all talked about this. Like, no. And so we were drinking when this happened, and I proceeded to get absolutely wasted, like beyond. And we were still all bitching about it, fighting about it, whatever. We're like, who is this random woman in my boyfriend's DMs? Like, get out of here, blah, 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 blah. So, what did I do? Instead of just going to bed, I wanted to talk to her. I wanted to talk to this woman on the phone. I didn't have her number. So my psycho ass, when provoked, there's a little crazy that lives inside of me. She's only come out pretty much this one time. I didn't have her number. So I found her on Facebook and called her from the Facebook Messenger app. Did y'all even know you could do that? I don't think that I even knew that. I don't know how wasted blackout me figured that out, first of all. But literally I'm on the Messenger app, like calling her at like 1 a.m, like an absolute lunatic. And at the time I'm all fired up. My girlfriends are fired up with me. They're like, yeah, like you tell this bitch to stay out of your man's DMs. I'm like, yeah. So then there's a moment when you're doing something crazy where it's like something like flashes before your eyes, like your life. And you have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I don't think that this is good behavior. I think I'm being a little bit crazy right now. And so I had that moment. I came to. I put the phone down, I went and chugged some water, and I went to bed. And whenever I tell y'all, I had a pit the size of fucking Texas the next morning. I woke up and I was like, I am gonna throw up. Mostly because I'm hungover, but also because what is wrong with me? Like, it is not that serious. It was that serious. But relax. Like, oh my God, who am I calling this person for when I'm drunk and from the Facebook app? Like, it was so not good and not okay. So the woman and I actually went to coffee the next day, and I opened with an apology. I was like, that was so out of line. I sincerely apologize. Like, girl, I am so sorry. I was so drunk, and I don't know why I used the Facebook app. That's insane. Like, I'm so sorry. And then we went on to talk about it, and I was explaining to this person why I didn't like her DMing my boyfriend. I say all this and I say my piece, and I'm like, look, like, I just appreciate if you just stay out of his DMs. And she proceeds to tell me, y'all, I can't make this shit up. She says that I'm from Mississippi, and she thinks that maybe she just has a more evolved way of thinking about male and female relationships. I said, I beg your pardon. And then she's like, not that that matters, though. You know what I mean? I was like, nah, girl, you said it. And I will never fucking forget what you just said. Like, I'm like, male and female relationships have been around since the beginning of time. It don't matter if I'm from Mississippi, if I'm from wherever Adam and Eve lived, or if I'm from wherever you're from. Like, nah. Nope. Try to pull that. It ain't happening. I hate when people do that shit, y'all. Like, they think you're dumb or you're less than or whatever because you're from the South. That is bullshit. I hate it. So then whenever she said that, and then she also told me that she didn't need a 25-year-old to tell her what to do. And I was like, I think that we're never going to be friends. Like, I just don't think it's going to work out for us. And after she said that, honestly, I regret nothing. There, I said it. I acted crazy, and it was so warranted, and I regret nothing. Call the Facebook app. Call them, y'all. I recommend it. Go off. I don't recommend it. I do. That was so out of line. I shouldn't have ever done that. But so that was like one of the craziest things that I've ever done, and I will never, ever forget. I called my mom to tell her about all of this, and I told her about the coffee and whatever. She's like, Lauren, like, does this person sound like someone that you'll never get along with? Yes. And then she said, but I did not raise crazy girls. And I said, damn. Ouch. She was like, you know how to act and you know how to be an adult and you know how to handle conflict as an adult. So don't act like this ever again. And honestly, I needed to hear that. I needed it. But part of this podcast is about figuring your life out in your 20s. And so that's a lesson that I had to learn the hard way. Don't be a crazy person, okay? Like, don't be acting a fool like that. Just handle it maturely, and you're just gonna be better off. But also part of this podcast is being real about the fact that we all have to learn that the hard way, okay? And so I asked you guys to tell me stories of you being crazy, and y'all delivered. We're gonna start with some easy ones, and then I'm gonna read y'all off my friend that was talking to me the other day. First of all, this person just wrote in, like, I was looking for more so, like, crazy things that are, like, embarrassing. This girl just goes, I asked my husband out in front of his ex-girlfriend, like right in front of him. She was trying to get back with him and I just walked in and asked him out. I don't think that that's that crazy. Like, I mean, it's a little bit rude, but like, I don't think that's that crazy. I would probably not have a pit about that, mostly because he's your husband. Good for you. Okay. Most of you wrote in and said something along the lines of this. I know I've done it, but I think my brain has purposely blocked it from my memories. And like, y'all, I wish that would happen to me, okay? Like, I so badly wish that I could forget my little one moment whenever I acted like a psychopath. God, it keeps me up at night. Like, I wish that I could just forget. Someone says, I figured out where someone who was ghosting me worked and showed up months after they ghosted me. That's out of control. Y'all, that's no. And again, I'm reading all of these off and I'm being lighthearted about it because we all have been there. It's like most of these things, I don't know, showing up at someone's workplace is like a little bit scary and like stalkerish. But if like, it's not like an actual safety situation, then like you just have to learn these things the hard way, I think. And we have to be able to laugh at them. Okay, somebody wrote in and said, where did this one go? Oh my God. Someone says, I've combed through an ex's public Venmo transactions. Actually, multiple people wrote that in. And y'all, I never thought about that, but like, Venmo is personal. Why is that public? You know what I mean? I love that. I feel like you could find out anything you needed to know about somebody. This one, what did it say? Okay. I created a fake Tinder account because I suspected the guy I'd been dating for several months was on the apps. Not only was he on there, but he immediately messaged me asking for a hookup and nudes. I blocked and ghosted him and put his stuff on the porch in the middle of the night. Okay, again, y'all, I feel like all of these things are warranted, okay? Like, yes, is it a crazy thing to go so far out of your way to create a fake Tinder profile to catch someone doing something wrong when you probably could just ask them to their face? Yes, that's crazy. That's immature. But awesome, because you were right, okay? Warranted. And that's literally what I messaged this girl back. I said, that gut feeling that takes over will make you do crazy shit, but it's almost never wrong. I don't know. Now let me read you the one from my friend. I'm obsessed with this. Okay. She just says, bad behavior. My boyfriend stopped texting me back mid-conversation, and then I didn't hear back from him for the rest of the night. So to make sure he was alive / get some sort of response, I called him and used this app on my phone to open and close his garage door until he responded. I ended up calling him 30 times and opening and closing his garage door 15 times. Y'all, I am obsessed with this. You're like, oh, you're not going to text me back? Open, close, open, close. Like, he wakes up and he's like, what the fuck is going on with the garage door? His neighbors are looking out the window. Like, I love this. And so I said, like, ha. And then she wrote back and said, he since disconnected me from the garage door app. Bitch, I bet. Also, again, psychotic behavior. Not a good adult thing to do. But you know what? I bet he'll text you back. You'll never be able to get in that garage again, but I bet he'll text you back. I also love that they're still together. Like, I think that whenever you're with the right person, one, you won't be provoked into craziness. So that's an important takeaway here, especially given the whole rest of the context of this, whole episode. I think that no matter how good your relationship is, there's a chance that you can be provoked into craziness. But whenever you're with the right person, they will understand, like, okay, here's how we're going to handle this, and you'll get past it together. But I think that for the most part, overall, if you're being pushed into acting like a psychopath, I think maybe it's a red flag. You know what I mean? I just feel like that's pretty solid advice across the board. What the hell do I know? Nothing. This show is about everything I don't know. But I feel like that one is kind of obvious, you know? If you're having to open and close the garage door every week, maybe take a step back. Once in the relationship, hilarious though. Funny story to tell at your future wedding. Like, love this. Anyway. All right, y'all. I feel like I'm going to wrap it up. I really appreciate y'all being here for me and in support of me and going on this journey with me. We have been through it. We've been through it. It's just been a lot since like last fall. There's just been a lot happening. And I'm really, really excited. Next week, I have an awesome guest. I've actually got 2 like killer guests lined up that I'm interviewing tomorrow and then later this week. So I got the lighting, I got our audio issues sorted out, and I am entering a new chapter, and I'm just excited for you guys to have gone on this journey with me and have been there to see all of my highs and lows and hear about them and always support me. So thank y'all. This podcast is like my diary. I feel really good right now. And thank you for laughing with me here at the end. I was like, how can we make it a little lighthearted? Oh, let's tell some stories about people being nuts. Love it. All right, y'all. We all know the words. Oh my God. Am I getting choked up right now? Oh my God. Y'all know the drill. New episodes drop every single Monday, bright and early in the morning. We are available as a video on YouTube and Spotify, and audio only literally anywhere else you can get a podcast. We are on Instagram at Chicks and Dip Pod. I'm on Instagram at Lauren_Wolverton. And yeah, please share the show if you like what you heard. If you have any words of comfort and advice about going through a big life change, please send it my way. My DMs are open. Like, send me all the love and encouragement. And I hope that in talking about this, of course, it's like, you know, to give you guys an update of the behind the scenes of my life. But I hope that in talking about this, y'all can relate in some way. I think that most of y'all have probably gone through some kind of heartbreak before, whether it was initiated by you or it wasn't. And it sucks no matter what way you slice it. And that's part of life. And it's definitely part of young adulthood and figuring out who you're going to be. So thanks for listening. I hope that y'all can resonate with something I said today. And I will see y'all next week. Bye, y'all.